All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ron Roberts Jr., and I am excited to welcome you to our workshop, Your Value Matters, How to Know It and Show It. And this workshop is being hosted in collaboration with EXP, and you'll hear more about them in just a moment. But certainly looking forward to providing you some information that's going to be valuable to you as you continue along your journey to college or through college, if that's the route you're going to take, and certainly whatever path you take into your career. And the information that we share will be helpful on both accounts, as well as helping you to be able to have an impact on the people around you, your family, and also your community. All right, so just a few quick requests of you. And so as in every Zoom call, we're asking everyone to mute your mic when you're not speaking. Secondly, I'm going to ask you to take some notes if you can. If you're not prepared to take notes, that's okay. But if you happen to have a pen and paper handy, you may want to jot down some notes. I'm going to put out some information that I think is going to be very important for you to hold on to. It's information that's going to help you throughout your college experience, your career, and just life in general. And then third, I'm going to ask you to be prepared to ask questions. And so you can enter questions in the chat box, or certainly if you want to raise your hand and to ask a question verbally throughout the workshop, you're more than welcome to do so. We're going to try to keep it somewhat informal. And then finally, I'm just going to ask you to plan to participate in however you can. And we're going to have a few exercises, not many, I think probably 2 or 3. And our workshop will be a lot more engaging, a lot more fun if I'm not the only one talking. So I'm giving folks a chance to be able to share some ideas and some experiences you've had. And I think it'll be a lot more fun if we go that route. So just real quick, a little bit about my background. So I'm a recruiter for a company, a construction company, and I've been doing this type of recruiting or corporate recruiting for a number of years. But most of my experience has been in college career services. I worked at the University of Southern California for quite a few years. And so I started really developing my passion for helping college students and high school students with careers back then, and I still continue to have that. I'm also a proud board member of EXP, the Opportunity Engine, and so you hear more about them in just a moment. And I'm a big fan of a number of things. So I'm from the East Coast. So I love Philadelphia sports teams, Native American art. I'm very much into motivational, inspirational quotations. I love motivating and helping young people. And I love my wife. I have a very wonderful and supportive wife, so I'm certainly into her as well. All right. So at this point, I wanted to bring on Amy Gratz. She's the CEO of EXP, and I'm giving Amy a chance to share a few things about EXP.
Thank you so much, Ron. And it is just such a pleasure to be here. And I'm very excited because having you speak to our alumni and some of our faculty and other friends of EXP has been the journey of, I think, almost 8 years that you and I have taken. When I met you, you were working, I believe, with USC, my favorite, and were already very active in the college and career recruiting, consulting. And I was so excited about your network and your ability to communicate really effectively to youth about how to prepare for a career that I thought you would make a terrific, terrific partner to EXP. And back in the day, I think the 2013, 14, we were working together in our Exploring Careers in Long Beach together. But today in 2020, you are a member of our board of directors, which technically means you're my boss, Ron, you're my boss. But to have such a terrific boss and really a visionary, a leader in the area of career and college and career exploration, as well as diversity and equity and recruitment, we're just blessed to have you. And that is, you know, these areas of serving our students to help them find that pathway to college and career. That's what EXP is all about. For the last 20 years, we've been working with high school students to connect them to opportunities that will open their eyes and hopefully open a few doors for them to succeed in school, career, and life. And Ron's golden Rolodex has been very instrumental in helping our young people really see some amazing career pathways that otherwise they might not have known. So today, we're just really excited to bring Ron to a group that we've been working with for the last couple of years, Emerging Group, which is our alumni, building out our programs for the young professionals who might have been with us for their high school internship. But today, as they're in college and moving forward in their careers, we want to still be a resource. So thank you, Ron. It's a pleasure to partner with you.
Thank you, Amy. I really appreciate those kind words, and certainly been a pleasure to support you and EXP for all the years that I've known you. And you and your team obviously do a fantastic job. And so whatever I can do to continue to leverage my experiences, skills, and abilities to support that mission, I'm more than happy to do so. All right, so with that said, I wanted to start off by sharing a high school memory. And I think there may be some high school students on here, but certainly as college students, you may remember high school. So probably my 11th grade year, 10th, 11th grade year, I was outside, and it was lunchtime, and I was running through the cafeteria. I was running across campus and running through the cafeteria. And so it was crowded. There were students all over. And somehow the cuff of my pants caught on the sprinkler head, and I fell face down in the dirt. Now, when I was in junior high school, I got teased a lot. And so one of the worst things you would want to do is fall down in front of everybody. And so, so I fell down face first. And so I knew that the last thing I wanted to do was to look up, because as soon as I looked up, then people would just laugh hysterically, and it would just make the situation worse. So I didn't look up. I just got up, dusted myself off, and I kept going. And so years later, I thought about this experience, and I thought, there's a life lesson in this. There are going to be people around who are going to want to see you fall, unfortunately. There are people, if you happen to stumble and make a mistake, who may find some joy and delight in it, unfortunately, too. And so what you want to do is, if you happen to fall, because you will fall, you will make mistakes, because we're all human, you want to be sure that you're focused on getting yourself back up and just continuing on with your path. Don't worry about looking at other people to see what they're going to say, what they're going to think, or if they're going to laugh at you. Just stay focused. And I think that if I do that, and we all do that, we'll be much better off, and we can really accomplish the things that we really need to accomplish, and not so much worry about what other people are saying or thinking. So anyhow, I had a great experience in high school. That was just one memory I wanted to share because there's a life lesson attached, but it was great. So let's go ahead and move on. So I have a core belief that everyone has value. Everyone is created with some level of value and purpose. And so I just wanted to share that to you all, especially those who are high school, but certainly college level students, that we all have value. And I'm emphasizing this because some of us have grown up, and we've had people in our circle, it could be family members, it could be friends, it could be peers, it could be teachers, who've shared something with you that has devalued your value, they've diminished your value. And so I put this list here, and I've had some fun with it too. But growing up, you're either too skinny or too fat, you're too light or too dark, too tall, too short, and so forth. So it seems like you couldn't be just right. People always had an issue with you too. And so I just want to say this: if you're struggling with this, I just want to be a voice in your life, just to say that you do have value, no matter what other people say. And what you want to do is, if you're not doing this already, you want to surround yourself with people who actually believe in you, people who will encourage you and support you, and just remind you that you have value. There's a reason for you being on this earth, and there is a lot of good that you can do. All right, so my opening challenge to you is be a star at who you are. And for college students, forgive me, this may seem a little bit beneath you, but this is usually something I share with my high school audience, but you may benefit from it as well. And so, we have a tendency to look at other people and admire them, whether it be entertainers or athletes, or maybe maybe family members or professors or just other notable people. And so we tend to admire them. And it's good to be able to admire people and have role models to follow. But sometimes we get caught up so much in other people and what their accomplishments, we forget about us and we get lost in it too. And so I like to share with audiences is that be a star at who you are. And so you may not, in your whatever strengths you have, whatever gifts you have, you may not, be able to stand in front of thousands or millions of people. You may not have a ton of followers, but you have gifts, you have strengths, and so you can be a star in your own right if you take the time to figure out what value you have to offer, and we're going to share about that, and you go ahead and offer that value as well. So just a reminder, be a star at who you are. All right, so let's get into our topic, your value matters, how to know it and show it. And this is a topic that's I find very important. I'm not by any means a master at how to show your value or offer, show how you can offer value to folks, but I have been a student of this for a while and I've had to learn the hard way. And so just over time, just through my own experiences, through observations I've made of other people, I've learned how important it is to be able to understand the value you can offer people. And then on top of that, to be able to show it. So let's go ahead and, whoops. All right, so what you should learn from this workshop, why value matters as a general rule of life, why you should know your value and how to do it, and why you should show your value and how to do it. So those are 3 things you'll learn from this workshop. All right, so why should I care? Why should I care about this topic? What's the big deal? So value is the key to the quality and quantity of relationships and opportunities available to you. So let me read that again. Value is key to the quality and quantity of relationships and opportunities available to you. And so I believe that the value you can offer is a driver to the quality and the number of relationships you'll have, and to the quality and number of opportunities that will be available to you. And I'll talk a little bit more about what that means. All right, so I want to do a quick exercise. And so I want to ask each of you to think of a close friend or family member and to answer these 2 questions for yourself. Why did you become close to this person? And why are you still close to this person? So take a quick moment, and then I want to invite 1 or 2 folks to come on and just share about their close friend or family member, and why that person's close to them and why the person has stayed close to them. All right, so anybody wants to jump on and just share a little bit about their close friend or family member? You don't have to share any names, but why is that person close to you? Why did that person come close to you, and why are they so close to you?
I can go.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
I have a close friend. The reason why I'm close to this person is because first they're older than me, so they have more experience with life, I guess you can say. So this person can give me advice and stuff like that. So that's why I'm close with this person.
Okay, good, very good. So person's older, so they have a little bit more life experience, and they're able to give you some advice. Good. Let's have somebody else. Another brave soul. Anybody else want to take a crack at it? All right, well, we'll go ahead and stick with what I think it was Adrianita shared too. So I wanted just to make a quick point that when we get close to someone, reason why we're close with people and this close friend or family member, and the reason why I say close to them is because they're offering us some kind of value. It's something very simple, very basic, but I'm stressing it and emphasizing it because it's not the type of thing that people intentionally think about too. And so in her case, her friend was offering her value through life experiences and through advice as well. But sometimes our friends, are just simply fun to hang out with, or they're good listeners, or they are popular, or we have a lot of things in common with them. But there's some kind of value that's being derived, that's being gotten out of the relationship too. So it's a very simple thing. And so, value, as I mentioned once again, is embedded in relationships. And I don't want to make the point that you should be in a relationship just to get something from people. So I don't want to make that the case. But oftentimes we are in relationships, whether it's at work, at school, or in our friends and our family because there's some kind of value expected. And so that's just the way it works. So that's why one of the reasons why value is important to be thinking about. All right, so value matters. So as individuals, we attach ourselves to those who are thought to add value. That's just the way it is. And so if we feel that somebody can benefit my life, then we're going to have a desire to attach ourselves to them. For colleges, colleges, when you're applying to colleges are going to admit applicants who are thought to add value. So they're going to see a lot of applications, and they're going to pick those students, those applicants that they feel are going to add the most value to the campus. Employers, they hire candidates who are thought to add value. So once again, they're seeing lots of resumes and lots of applications. They're meeting people on campuses at career fairs, and so, or maybe through Zoom virtually. And so they're trying to hire the people who they feel are going to add the most value to them. So this is just the basic common principle of life. That you have to add value in order for people to want to connect with you, or for in cases, for colleges or schools you may be interested in, or for employees you may be interested in, you need to add value. So offering value is an essential ingredient for beneficial relationships and opportunities. And I want to make another quick point on this slide. I worded it attached to those who are thought to add value, admitted applicants who are thought to add value. And I worded it that way too because college may admit someone who may not really at the end of the day add a whole lot of value, but if that person is perceived to add value, the college is going to admit them in. Same thing with an employer. An employer honestly, really doesn't know you as much before they hire you, but they perceive you to add value. And so it's not so much that adding value is the key thing, which I think is important, but it's that perception that's out there too. So people oftentimes will give you opportunities if they perceive you will add value. But hopefully if you get those opportunities, you will indeed come in and back their rationale up and will add value to them. All right, so let's move on. So what is your value to others? And so I'm gonna give some folks a moment to think about that. And I'm gonna give 2 or 3 people just to open up and just share what they think the value is to others. And I'm also gonna broaden it so I can take some of the spotlight off of you. If you don't wanna share what you think your value is, what do you think, what is the kind of value that you think students, high school or college students can offer others? So give you a moment to think about that, and as soon as anyone's ready, they can jump in and share. All right, so does anyone want to come on, or I see, do you have anything in the chat at all? Okay. If you want to go ahead and enter something in the chat, if that's easier, that's fine. But certainly would love to hear somebody take themselves off the mic and share how they feel that they, or maybe just students in general, can add value to others. And we won't stay long with this, but if I can get somebody to come on.
Can I jump in?
Sure,
Ron?
sure, Amy.
I just think absolutely high school students bring fresh ideas and new perspectives. We all kind of get into our way of thinking, and high school students are always surprising and have new fresh ideas.
Yeah, that's a great point, Amy. And oftentimes when, as a recruiter, I hire a lot of college students, and one of the things I'm looking for college students to do is to bring in fresh perspectives to our company, because our company is made up of folks who've been working in the industry for a while, they've been working at our company for a while, and so it's easy to get stuck doing the same things. And so we bring a college student in, they have some ideas, some different ideas about the way things should work, and those ideas are oftentimes, pretty good or worth considering. So good. All right, so let me help you all out a little bit. Let's go to the next slide. So here's some ways that you can add value. And so the definition of value is relative worth, merit, or importance. And so number one, your education. And so as a high school student, and especially as a college student, what you're learning is valuable. The skills you're developing in your classes is valuable. And just the fact that you're learning how to learn is invaluable. So as an employer, when I come in and I'm talking to a college student, I don't expect them to know everything, but I am expecting them to have developed some ability to learn. I'm expecting them to have developed certain skills. And so we definitely value education. And some employers will go to certain campuses because they value the education that's offered on those campuses. So when I was recruiting for accounting and finance, we went to schools like USC, UCLA, Cal State Northridge, other schools that have strong accounting programs too. And so we value education. Also your abilities and skills. So whatever you know how to do well, whether it comes naturally to you or you have some kind of training in it, that's also a way that you can add value. Your knowledge. And so some of you know things that other people don't know. And no matter how much older someone is, you happen to have a certain set of things that you know that other people don't know. And so that's something that could be of value. Your personality. So whether you're charismatic, whether you're friendly, whether you're supportive, whether you're a good listener, whether you're easygoing, you're ambitious. So you have personality traits and characteristics that can add value to your college, to your high school, to employers. And so really be thinking about your personality, your experiences. So much like your knowledge, some of you have experiences that other people have not had. And so you want to be thinking about some of the unique experiences you've gone through. And some of these experiences that you have had have been positive and some have been challenging, but they've shaped you into the kind of person that you are. And so you want to be thinking about your experiences as a value. And then just your value system. So what's important to you? So is it family? Is it friends? Is it making money? Is it learning new things? And so sometimes what's important to you will be important to a company that you want to work for, or certainly important to maybe people that you come across too. So these are some of the ways that you can really add value to others. And so my encouragement is for you to take some time to start thinking about, what you're learning in school, what you're good at doing, what you know, what your personality characteristics are, what kinds of things you've experienced that have made you a better person, what's important to you. But start thinking about those things. And if once you get a better understanding of that, it's going to be easier for you to be able to share with others and easier for you to figure out how you can offer some kind of value to other people, whether it be your high school, colleges, employers, and so forth. All right, so, and I've touched on this, so who you can add value to. And so, certainly family members, colleges, peers, community, even your professors. And so, and your teachers. And so just imagine you're at school and you're a student that is contributing to the class discussion. And so teachers and professors appreciate people who participate in the discussion or who help ask good questions. And so that's certainly one way that you can benefit your teachers and professors, but you can benefit a lot of people and not just the folks on the screen. All right, so I want to get to one of my favorite parts of the presentation, and I'm going to ask too, if you happen to have questions, feel free to enter them into the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself and ask a question, I'm okay with that as well. So let's just take a quick look at the chat, see here. Okay, we have some good comments here, very good. All right, so let's talk about brands, and let me just go back a slide. So on this slide are some brands that you all are very familiar with, no doubt. And there's a reason why these brands are so noticed, so popular. So I want to ask some of you just to chime in and to share, what you think of when you see these brands. So let's start with one of my favorites, In-N-Out Burger. So can I get some folks to chime in? So when you see the In-N-Out Burger logo, or you hear In-N-Out, or maybe hear the jingle, what comes to mind about In-N-Out? And anybody can chime in. But I definitely hear from my students. You go ahead.
I think about hamburgers, I think about fries, and like that famous lemonade, pink lemonade.
Okay. Okay, good. So hamburgers, fries, and pink lemonade. I think I had pink lemonade in and out one time years ago, and I probably need to visit that again now that you mentioned it. But yes. Okay, what else comes to mind when you think about In-N-Out? So hamburgers, fries, pink lemonade.
Great customer service.
Yeah, great customer service. Yeah, they have awesome customer service. And it's worth waiting in line for. Anything else? I'm sorry, what's that?
Their slogan.
Yes. Yep. In-N-Out, that's what the hamburger's all about. Yep. Good stuff. Okay, how about Disney? What comes to mind when we see the Disney logo, we hear Disney?
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse, yes. He's an icon. What else?
Childhood.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Childhood.
Childhood, yes. Yes, Disney's a big part of our childhood. Exactly. Well, anything else about Disney?
Expensive.
Family friendly.
I love that. Every time I do this, someone always says expensive. Yeah, it does cost a lot, to get Disney swag or to get into the parks. And I actually wrote a poem one time because I used to go to the Disney store just to check around. It's like I can never buy anything here because I just couldn't afford it. And so I wrote a poem called "Too Poor for the Disney Store." And so that was just my homage to the expensiveness of Disney. So anything else about Disney? Childhood, expensive, Mickey Mouse.
Magic.
Magic, yes. This is all about creating magic. Yep, when you wish upon a star. All right, let's take another one that's big and that's been really big during this time. Nike. So what comes to mind when you think of Nike?
Just do it.
Just do it. Yep. Don't talk about it, just do it. Yep. What else?
Shoes.
Shoes. Oh yes. Tons and tons of shoes. Yep.
Working out.
What's that? Working out? Yeah. Yeah, they have lots of great workout gear. Anything else about Nike?
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan, yes. His brand was attached very much to Nike. Yep. Yeah, so anyhow, so these are just some examples. So you see these brands that we consider, iconic, very notable. And, you can't help but have some sort of thought or even some sort of emotion attached sometimes to these brands because they're so powerful. So let's get into this a little bit more. So now I wanted to ask some of you to think about your favorite brand. And it doesn't have to be these items on the screen, but I want you to think about your favorite product. And so it can be shoes, it can be your hoodie, it can be a cap, it could be your soft drink, it could be your Xbox controller, your phone. So I'm going to ask you all just to take a moment and just to share, what kind of value does your favorite product offer? So whatever it is, what kind of value does it offer you?
I'll say my iPhone gives me instant connectivity.
Mm-hmm.
I can be anywhere.
Yeah. So it's instant and it gives you that connectivity anywhere. Great. Yes. What other value do our favorite products offer us? And I know everyone has something favorite that they attach to. So.
My PlayStation lets me have a good time after work.
Oh yeah, and that's much needed sometimes. Yep. Very good. Any other thoughts? Can I get a young person to jump on and share, their favorite product and the value it offers them? Because you guys love your phones.
Starbucks. Sometimes when I'm not I'm kind of pretty busy or I'm out or something and I'm far from my house, I could get something to drink.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Very good. Very good. All right. So let's move on. So definition of a brand, a kind or variety of something distinguished by some distinctive characteristics. And so each of these brands has distinct and powerful characteristics that separate them from others. And so you can go to get a hamburger, you can go lots of places. But why are there people on long lines at In-N-Out? For coffee, you can go lots of places to get coffee and for a whole lot cheaper. So why are people going to Starbucks and paying more and standing or sitting in long lines too? So but these brands have very powerful characteristics that are distinct and separate them from others. And each brand also offers significant value. So whether you go on to Starbucks or In-N-Out, or whether you're, using a Google service, or you all use Amazon probably, we're doing it because it's providing us some kind of value. All right. And so these brands have made an art really of being distinct or standing out and just providing value. And so the companies behind these brands work very hard to make sure that they're going to offer some kind of value because they want to keep their customers too. And there's a lot of competition out there. And so same with you is you want to start thinking about, okay, what makes me distinct? What makes me different? And so if I'm going to a career fair or if I'm applying to a college and I'm one of thousands of applicants to a college or to a company, for an internship or a job, what makes me different? Why should a company choose me? Why should a college choose me? Why should somebody give me an opportunity versus other people? So you want to be thinking about what makes you distinct, what makes you stand out, what makes you different than other people, what makes you the preferred choice. and what makes you valuable. And so just want to encourage you just to spend time thinking about that too. So you may have some ideas already, but the more you can really figure it out, what works for you, the better you're going to be off in terms of applying for college or being successful in college, finding a job, because it's all about being able to offer value and being able to share that value. And so something just to continue to think about. All right, so I just want to toss in just real quick some of my brand characteristics, because I'm going to ask you all to share a little bit more. So I'm going to give you a prompt here. So I put some logos here. So these are some logos that I'm connected to. And so you have the Disney logo. I'm a big Hallmark greeting card person. In-N-Out talked about, and East Coast, I love the Philadelphia Eagles, but also some of my characteristics. And so I'm creative, I'm optimistic, I'm a man of faith. I consider myself a catalyst, like to get things started. I'm playful, I'm resourceful, and I'm very much student-centric. And so a lot of what I do in my job and outside of my job is focused on students and trying to help students as well. So these are some of the characteristics that make up my brand. And so I wanted to ask you all just to engage in a little bit of an exercise and to start thinking about your personal brand. And so I want to ask you to think of 1 or 2 brands that you admire and why. And then number 2, how you would describe your brand currently. So what do you feel are your current brand qualities, brand characteristics? And then what do you aspire your brand to be? And so your brand may be a certain way at this point, but are you good with it the way it is, or do you aspire your brand to be different or to be better? So I'm going to ask you to think about those 3 questions and then to come back in just a couple minutes and share what's on your mind. And then one thing I have to say too, I have a disclaimer. So the folks that I have on the screen, I'm not necessarily endorsing these folks. I just put them on the screen because they do, no matter how you feel about them, they do have very strong brands. And so I just make sure that I was clear about that. All right, so I'm gonna give you another moment or 2, and then I'm gonna hear what you have to share. All right, so who wants to tackle any of these questions? And you don't have to answer all 3 questions, but if you just want to chime in and just tackle one question, that's fine as well. So who wants to get us started?
I can.
Okay, all right, Arlen.
Okay, hi. So the brand that I admire, it's Target, because you don't need anything from Target, but when you go outside and you have your full of everything. I mean, we spend like $15 and we don't need anything. So it makes me spend a lot of money and I don't need anything of it. So they're intelligent in that point. They have a lot of good things, marketing, all that.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I love Target too. But yeah, you can go in a store and it's just laid out so nicely, and you can go in just to maybe even just get one thing, and next thing you know, you have a cart full of things too. So they do a great job of marketing and just creating a nice customer experience.
Yeah, you start with a lip gloss and end up like full face of makeup.
Very good, Arlen. All right. So who else wants to share and answer any of these questions? Favorite brand and why, or how you describe your brand, what you aspire your brand to be.
So I admire Google because by Google usually there can be job opportunities, so we can search up for colleges. So it could be easier to take a virtual tour. There are many websites where there can be virtual tours of the colleges.
Yeah, very good.
It's
Angel.
easier right now since the COVID-19 pandemic to take a virtual tour by Google.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for sharing, Angel. And Google is definitely a very much desired company to work for too. So not only are they in the technology space and they're very active, and just really trying to provide resources to all of us, you know, whether it's just a Google search or just other ways. But it seems like it's a great place to work, a fun place to work, an engaging place to work. So very good. Thanks for sharing that, Angel. Anybody else want to answer any of these questions before we move on?
I admire Starbucks because they hire high school students and they give like their high school student workers like an opportunity of working with going into Arizona State, and they have like a whole program for that, and I really admire that.
Very cool, Catherine. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I love it too, that they provide opportunities for high school students. And certainly I know that your peers appreciate that, because you can't always, it's tough sometimes as a high school student to be able to get a really good opportunity. But Starbucks is a good place to work. So good stuff. All right. Well, I thank you all for sharing that as well. So yeah, just continue to think about, you know, brands that you really admire, and also about your own personal brand, and, you know, what makes up your personal brand and what you want it to be. And one thing I'll say too that's important is that we all have a brand, and our brand is our reputation. It's what people think about us and think of us, and when we're not in the room. And so my encouragement to you is to take control over how people are going to perceive you. And so, you know, really, if you want your brand to be a certain way, you have to be proactive. You have to be deliberate and shaping it in a way that's going to be a positive to folks too. And so you don't want to lie. You don't want to manufacture. You want to be true to yourself, but you want to be able to identify the best parts of yourself, and to be able to package that and share that with people in terms of the value you can offer them. Okay, good stuff. All right, so just real quick, let me just make sure, just some opportunities to show your value. And so we spent some time talking about knowing your value and how important that is. And so once you understand your value, now you want to start to show it. And so there are lots of opportunities you can use, opportunities for you to show your value. So it's everything from your resume, what your resume looks like, what you put on there, to getting ready for an interview. And so if you're interviewing with one person or two people, it's going to be a great opportunity just to be able to share who you are, what you're about, you know, what you've accomplished, how you can offer value to that company or to that college. Then certainly you got student organizations or clubs. And so when you're involved in the club, it's great if you can take on a role that really adds value to the club. So whether you can get on a committee or you take on another leadership role, but just, you know, a great way just to be able to bring your strengths to a club. Volunteering, lots of organizations need volunteers, people who can really come in and help to make things happen too. And so when you volunteer for an organization, it's a great way to show value, and value that's much needed. And sometimes when you volunteer for an organization enough, and they get the chance to know who you are and see your value, sometimes other opportunities come too. So volunteering is a great way just to be able to share your value. Certainly we get an internship or a job. So when you're applying for a job and you're interviewing for a job, you know, we usually put our best foot forward and we try to make the best impression we can make. But once you get hired, you don't want that to stop, because once you stop making that impression, once you stop offering value, then the employer may be inclined to let you go and find another brand. Okay, so it's much like this. And so we'll purchase something, and once that item isn't working for us, we'll discard it and we'll get another item in its place too. So it's much like when you're at an internship or a job. If you're not offering value, then there's really not a good reason for the employer to hold you and to keep you on too. So once you get that job or internship, don't stop, you know, trying to add value. Social media. There are lots of ways to add value on social media, and you want to be careful with it too, because sometimes people use social media as a way to express themselves, and sometimes they express themselves in a way that will come back to hurt them too. Especially if you're trying to get a job and the employer happens to look at your Twitter or your Instagram or other social media platform too. And so, but if you use social media right, people can go on and they can see, you know, what you're about, and they can see, you know, maybe some of the good things that you're doing, some of the projects you're working on. And so there are some really good ways where you can show your value on social media as well. So informational interview. So I want to ask somebody, I don't know if everyone knows what informational interviewing is. So I want to ask somebody real quick to share what informational interviews are. And we can have one of our older participants, if they want to jump on. Let's make sure everyone's educated about this.
I could say what's information interview?
Yes.
So what it's technically is that you're asking them what they're do, like say what career they're doing, asking them many what they do basically, and you're able to connect with them, and that's a way that you could network. So they also let you say recommend you to someone or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, no, great, Adrianita. Thank you for very much for sharing that too. But yeah, you're talking to folks and you're interviewing them to learn more about their careers and companies. But yeah, it's often a way for you to connect with people at companies that you're interested in or in industries that you're interested in. And sometimes, based on how good your informational interview goes, um, you can be connected to other people to talk to or other opportunities as well. So I want to say, I'm going to encourage everyone who's not doing an informational interview to try to get started. And so really, if you're looking to talk to a neuroscientist or an attorney or a musician, the best people to talk to are the people who are doing those roles. And so you will ask your teachers, your professors, your family members, your friends, people at EXP to help to connect you to people like this. And then you can have a 20 or 30-minute conversation with them on the phone, or through Zoom, or when everything lifts, maybe you can even have a conversation in person, but just ask them questions about, hey, what do you like about your job? What kind of hours do you work? How did you get into your job? What classes did you take in college or high school that have helped you? And so it's a great way to be able to ask questions and get information without there being a whole lot of pressure on you. Because you're just having a conversation, you're just learning. And so when it comes time for a real interview, if you've done enough informational interviews, then you'll have a better idea in terms of the kind of job that you may want. And you'll have enough information so that you can more confidently talk about why that job was of interest to you as well. So keep informational interviews in mind. If you aren't familiar with it, write it down and talk to people who are close to you to see, especially at EXP, to see if they can help you get started with that. All right, so just some opportunity to show value once again. All right, and so I'm tossing in this slide as a bonus slide. And so for those who are in high school, I don't expect you to know this. You may have heard of a 30-second commercial or elevator speech, but I typically share this with my college students because oftentimes they're going to be going to career fairs to meet with employers. And so certainly this is just one way of introducing yourself and showing the value that you can offer. But high school students, think about this too, because you can always use this if you just happen to meet somebody at an event that you're at and you want to talk a little bit about who you are. So just some ideas, but just really just introducing yourself, your name, what school you're going to, if you're a freshman or sophomore or senior, what you're studying, what kind of job or careers you're interested in, and then how you feel that you can personally add value. And so when you're talking to an employer or just talking to another professional, they realize you're in high school and college, and so they know that you can't, maybe you don't know as much as they know, or maybe you can't offer as much value as someone who has a lot of experience, but you still can offer some value too. And so just really thinking about, hey, I've developed these skills, I've done some volunteering, I picked up an internship, I was on a Zoom session, and I got a chance to hear some good career information. I know X, Y, Z. And so there are certain things that you can share with employers or just professionals to show your value. And so how you can contribute, and then how you can uniquely contribute. So you may be at a career fair and there are 50 other students who have the same major as you have. They've each have had an internship. They each have learned how to be able to make their pitch. And so now you need to think about, okay, what makes me different from them? So we all have, some things in common that make us attractive to an employer, but what do I have that makes me a little different? So you really want to spend some time thinking about that. I can't answer that for you because I don't know you as well as you know yourself. And so be thinking about that. And also, talk to the people who are close to you. Talk to your professors, your teachers, your mentors, people at EXP, and see if they can help you figure out, what's unique about you, how you can contribute as well. But a 30-second commercial elevator speech is your personal advertisement, just a way of being able to introduce who you are and how you could possibly add value to somebody. So that's just my bonus slide. All right, so I want to spend a moment on this, and I'm going to probably take another 5 minutes for our presentation. Then I'm going to leave some time for questions. So I want to spend some time on this slide because I think this is very important. So showing your value by being vocal and visible. So one of the things that I found in my experience is that you can get the most intelligent, most opinionated, most vocal folks in a meeting, and the meeting leader will ask a question or they'll ask for input, and there'll just be dead silence. And it never ceases to amaze me how often that happens. You know, people who otherwise would raise their hand and be vocal, or people who are very smart and they know a lot, but they'll get in a meeting setting with other people, and it's as if they don't know anything or if they don't have an opinion. And so, and it also, a lot of it stems from people not wanting to say the wrong thing, or not wanting to say something that's going to get them embarrassed and whatnot. So a lot of times people are afraid, you know, to be vocal. They're afraid to be visible because they aren't sure how people are going to react to that too, how people are going to respond. And I know this is particularly true for young people too. And so I just want to encourage you all to start thinking about how you can become more vocal and more visible in situations. So whether it's meetings or whether you're in a class or some other setting, whether you're in a club, but just learning how to take that risk to be a little more vocal, to be able to raise your hand and ask a question that you really don't have the answer to, but you really want to know, or to be able to share an idea that may be helpful. And I know it's a little scary just thinking about it, and so I'm not asking you to figure it out today, but I'm asking you to just start thinking about it and just start planning on how you're going to take that risk, because opportunities come to those whose value is known. And so you can work hard, you can be very smart, you can have great ideas, but if people don't know you and if they don't know what value you can offer, they're not going to really be able to do much for you. And so opportunities come to people who raise their hand and they're vocal about their questions and their ideas. They're visible. People can see them. And those are the people that, you know, leaders and others tend to remember, you know, too. So as long as you're doing it the right way, you want to be visible for the right reasons too. But, and you don't have to worry about doing it the way somebody else is doing it, because you may have someone who has very extroverted, they're very energetic in their personality, or they're very, very confident. And so it's like, oh man, I don't think I can speak the way this person speaks. So don't worry about doing it the way other people are doing it, but find your own way to be able to put yourself out there so people can know who you are. You just don't want to be that person that's in the corner of the room that no one knows about. And the other thing I want to say too is when you make yourself vocal and visible, you benefit others, because you may be that person that has that solution that people are really scratching their head to try to figure out. You may be that person that has that good question that other people are thinking about, but they're afraid to ask. And so when you raise that idea, that question, it benefits a lot of people too. And so when you don't do that, sometimes you're cheating people of the value that can be offered to them too. So also think about it that way as well. So make your presence known and your voice heard in your own way. All right, so one of my favorite quotations that goes along with this, we talked about Disney earlier. So do what you do so well that they will want to see it again and bring their friends. And this is absolutely one of my favorite quotations. So imagine, you know, going your favorite movie of all time, your favorite musical performance, a concert, favorite TV show, favorite sporting event, and something that was so memorable, something that was so powerful, so exciting that you wanted to be played over and over and over again, because it just impressed you that much. It just really touched you that much as well. And so when you're thinking about your value, you're thinking about your brand, you want it to be at such a level that people will want to see it again. People will want to engage with you. It's not going to be good enough for someone just to be able to connect with you one time. They're going to come back and connect with you over and over and over again. And on top of that, they're going to want to tell their friends and people that didn't know about you. So when you see a great movie or a great performance, what do? You want to see it again for yourself, but you also tell your friends and tell your families, oh man, I saw this movie, you got to check it out. Or I, had this soft drink, or I had this, delicious meal, and I went to this restaurant, you got to go yourself. So we start spreading the word, too. So you want your brand, your value to be so powerful that people will want to continue to connect with you and to speak with you and engage with you, but they want to tell their friends. So let me give you a quick example. So I mentioned before, I'm a recruiter, so I go to several college campuses. And so I'll talk to a number of students, hundreds of students at a career fair. And there's some students who stand out. You know, it's their personality, it's their knowledge of our company, it's their energy level, you know, maybe their politeness. And so they'll stand out for one reason or another. And I can't wait. And so I want to continue my conversation with them. And then in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna keep this person's resume because I'm gonna want to reach out to them and talk to them again. I might want to talk to them on the phone. I might want to invite them in for an interview. But in addition, I can't wait to get back to my office and tell my boss and tell my coworkers, you won't believe this great candidate that I met at Cal Poly Pomona or at UC Riverside. And so, so I'm just making the case. I think I've made my point. Once again, as you're thinking about your value and your personal brand, you want it to be at that level where people will want to connect with you over and over again, and they're going to tell their friends and their family members all about you. All right, so I think in the sermon, I think you all get my point. All right, so my parting challenge to you, and I put a lot out there, so hopefully you've taken some notes, hopefully you're keeping some of it in mind. So I have a parting challenge to you, and it's to better our world in your own way. So I don't need to tell you that we're living in a very crazy time. We have a lot of unrest going on, a lot of political stuff happening. We have COVID-19 we're still dealing with. Lots of crazy things going on, and it can be very scary. And I do, for those of you, our high school students, college students, I am sorry that you're having to deal with what you're having to deal with, because I know it's impacting your school life and your school experience, and even your home life too. So I'm definitely sorry that you're having to deal with that. But I'm going to challenge you to really think about some of the issues in your community and our world that are important to you. So whether it's politics, whether it's crime, social justice, the environment, whatever is important to you, to try to think of a way that you can use your values, so your own strengths, whether it be what you know, what you are good at doing, your personality, and try to make a difference in your own way. And so there are lots of problems out there, but I really believe that we have more people coming in trying to help to solve problems. So there's people who are older, people who are younger, you know, and as Amy said, you know, earlier, bringing fresh perspectives to issues. I'm confident that our world can be a better place. Now, I think there's always going to be some things going on, but the more people involved and really trying to help out, the better off we'll be. So a couple quotations. It is better to light a candle than the curse of darkness. So it's easy to complain, you know, about what's going on, but it's much better to actually light a candle that's going to give light to folks. And then the last quote, one of my favorite quotes, do what you can with what you have where you are. So don't wait till you get more experience. Don't wait till you get older. Don't wait till you get more knowledge, more money. You can make a difference now. So do what you can with what you have where you are. So as I mentioned, we all have value. We all have gifts. We all have strengths, no matter how old you are, no matter how young you are too. So take what you have and use that to make a difference in those areas and those issues that are most important. So that's my parting challenge. Final thing before I take some questions is some of your friends can benefit from this information. Other people, maybe family members, can benefit from this information. And so I'm going to encourage you, don't just hold on to this information for yourself. Share it. So if there's something in this presentation that you feel like, wow, yeah, that's really important. That was powerful. Oh man, yeah, that makes sense. Share it with other people too. Because the more people that have this kind of information, the better college students people will be, the better high school students people will be, better employees, the better community members, better family members. So everyone benefits from having this kind of knowledge. All right, so thank you all for hanging with me.